We're reviewing the Hunt Brothers coffee press. For people that are really big coffee fans, the best kind of coffee that you can actually get is in a French press. The machines are great. I know a lot of people use Keurigs, different kinds of brands of coffee makers, the Coffee Mate, and those are great. The reason that the French press is so popular is that it actually preserves the oils and the actual taste of the coffee beans because you don't use an actual paper filter, so the coffee itself is not filtered. The stainless steel material on the coffee press is awesome, especially in this one. It's like really nice and hard. It holds the glass in perfectly and securely. You can spin it, you can remove it to wash it, and then you pop it back in. This one has the actual glass scoop. If you guys have seen a lot of French presses, they don't have the scoop. It's actually straight, and then the actual cover has the scoop. This one has actually the pouring spout right on the glass, which I think is great. That way when you put it in, you don't have to fight with it to figure out if it's in the right place. I grind my own coffee, which is what you should actually do with a French press. Even if you want to grind it 2 to 3 days in advance and put it in the freezer. But you don't want to buy pre-grinded coffee, and you really don't want to use grinded coffee that's been away for too long. It loses the whole natural factor. So I just grinded this. I'm going to make about 3 cups. So for every cup, I'm going to use a tablespoon, a scoop, of the actually fresh grinded coffee. So I'm going to use 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour the boiling water from my kettle straight into it. And I'm going to put it a little bit right up to the metal. That's enough. I want it pretty strong. I like my coffee strong, and I love the taste of the French press again. So then you just give it a little stir. You just want to make sure that all the grains and everything are mixed in with the water. And you're just going to go ahead and you're going to put the cover on. And you're going to slowly lower it just enough till you're right above the water. You're not actually pressing anything now. You're not doing anything. Then we're going to use our timer. And we're going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and set that there. And we'll be back in a few seconds to see how the results are. Okay, so we're back. As you know, the timer's about to go off. So the coffee's actually done. Everything's been mixed. The coffee's been sitting in the water. I forgot to mention, when you grind your coffee, depending on the intensity of how you want the coffee is how you grind it. So if you want it really strong, you can grind it like really fine. If you want it semi-dark, you can go ahead and actually leave it a little bit more crunchy, a little bit thicker for the grind. We're going to go ahead and finish it off. Now what you do at this point with this, of course, any kind of French press, but I love this one, you lower down the process and you press down on the press really, really, really slow. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to push too hard, because you want, if you see there, the coffee grains are staying actually underneath the filter. So you don't want to actually do it too fast or move it out of place so that the grains actually escape into your coffee, because you don't want your coffee to taste that way. So we're going to push all the way down. Once you get to the bottom, that's it. It's time to serve the coffee. And we're there at the bottom. Now, with this Hunt Brothers press, you don't actually have to keep your hand on top. This is heavy enough where it actually stays, which I think that's great. A lot of French presses, you got to hold it down and press down so that when you tilt it to pour the coffee, everything comes off. Once again, see the difference, the space between my fingers and the actual glass. If this was too short, which a lot of them are, your hand actually touches, and this water is actually boiling out of the kettle, so you don't want to burn your hand. So we're just going to go ahead and lift it. The reason I'm actually going through the trouble of actually pouring the coffee and everything in the video to do the review is that the best way to determine whether or not an actual press is actually really good is actually when you put the cream inside the coffee. Because you'll see if it has little floating pieces of coffee grinds, which is not what you want inside your coffee. The better the French press machine, the better the coffee is. Because at the end of the day, the cheaper ones, the filter isn't secure, it doesn't have the rubber slider to make it go down, and the coffee grains escape into your coffee. So far, I don't see any. And that's why we add the cream, because when it lightens up, we could check. Around the edge, you'll see the oil. So you know that it actually took the coffee in the water, and it was a perfect amount of time to get all those oils from the cocoa beans. Now we go like this. We're going to pour the cream, and we're going to wait a few seconds. And right there is your result of whether or not this is a good press. There is not one coffee bean There is not one coffee grind. It is 100% been filtered so that you don't get anything in it except fresh coffee. It's 100% clear. Even if I stir it, nothing comes to the surface. And here's the actual thing before I go. This coffee press, this isn't the first time I've used it. So of course at the beginning, everything's gonna taste better and be better because it's a first use. I've actually used it quite a few times. And that rubber piece that goes around to make sure the filter doesn't allow any grinds in is still making sure that not literally one, if you get really close into it, not one grind or bean is inside this coffee. This machine actually filtered everything, and everything, if you see, is in the bottom. If you see it down there. Everything's stuck down there, nothing's being released. All you have is fresh coffee at the top. The weight of it is great, the top of it is great, the metal on it is great. I highly recommend this Hunt Brothers press. Out of all the ones I had, I like the weight of it, I like how it works. Go ahead and give it a try. Thank you.